Yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
The road to recovery continues here in the Bronx. Andy Pettit before the game throwing on flat ground, so he's making progress. And in the batting cage, Alex Rodriguez taking live BP, and he might have a rehab assignment as early as this weekend. So his return could be fairly close. Tonight, it's time for baseball as the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the New York Yankees against the Toronto Blue Jays in the middle game of a 3-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with Al Leiter, I'm Michael Kay. A tough loss for the Yankees last night. They were 1 out away with their closer, Rafael Soriano, on the mound, and they couldn't get it done.
They couldn't get it done, and I'll tell you, Rafael Soriano has been very good for the Yankees this year. And being up 2 runs, you got Kobe Rasmus hits a 3-run homer in the top of the 9th. They go ahead 7-6. Derek Jeter hit a solo home run at the bottom of the inning. Goes to extra innings. Derek Lowe throws the ball away. Eric Chavez at first base could not handle it. Mike McCoy all the way over to third base. Sets it up for Danny Echeverria. Little ground ball in front of Jason Nix. Quick bang play. Chavez doesn't get a good turn. Safe at home. Blue Jay win.
And the Yankees have not been playing great baseball of late. In their last 7 games out, they're 2-5, scoring just 3.6 runs a game. The batting average not good, home runs 10, and the ERA 4.57. And on top of the loss in the standings, they suffered a loss at first base. Mark Teixeira went down with a grade 1 strain of the left calf.
He did, and you look at this, how it just all plays out. You know, it didn't look like much, but, you know, it obviously doesn't have to. He ended up staying on base, and then you see him running around so gingerly. Looked painful, gets taken out of the game, and as you say, Michael, looks like they're saying about a week. Hopefully it's not longer than that.
Because they can expand the rosters on September 1st, they will not put him on the DL. Phil Hughes tonight gets the start. He wants to pick up a win. We'll talk about what he's done lately with Al. That's next on Yes. Tonight's New York Lottery pitching matchup. For the Blue Jays, it's the left-hander Ricky Romero, 8-11 with a 5.63. And for the Yankees, their right-hander Phil Hughes is 12-11 with a 4.15 ERA. That's Al Leiter. I'm Michael Kay. Phil Hughes has had kind of an up-and-down year. Sometimes he looks like he's a world beater, and then he's had some bad times. But of late, he's pitched better.
He has, Michael, and I think that's a good point, because there are times when you look at Phil Hughes stuff-wise and you rate him out and you say, wow, front-end starter. And I think what happens with Phil is he gets careless in the zone. He's got a good fastball, not a great fastball. He elevates a lot. He does give up the long ball. I think especially these last 2 starts, he gave up 4 runs, 0 earned against the Red Sox. His last start, and you see the 7 innings and 2 runs, he ended up getting a loss, a 2-1 loss. When he has the command of both sides of the plate with the fastball, uses that curveball. He's been using a lot more changeups when he's a three-pitch pitcher, often tough to hit.
Big start for the Yankees after losing last night in extra innings. They want to get this game and the one tomorrow as well. Crowd is filing into Yankee Stadium. When we get back, lineups, first pitch, baseball, Yankees Jays next on Yes. Brought to you in part by Raymore and Flanagan, furnishing your style with guaranteed delivery in 3 days or less. By your tri-state area Volkswagen dealers, visit VWDealer.com. And by Chase, with more innovative ways to make your banking easier. Take a step forward and chase what matters. Well, the Yankees have taken the field, looking to even up this series. They lost last night in 11 innings, and Phil Hughes is on the mound for the Yanks. So why don't we take a look at the Blue Jays starting lineup that he is going to face, and is presented by Bank of America. Rajay Davis in left field will lead off. Batting second and playing center is Colby Rasmus. First baseman Edwin Encarnacion hits third. The DH is Adam Lynn. He'll clean up. Batting fifth, playing shortstop Yunel Escobar. Yorvit Torrealba will catch. He'll bat sixth. Batting seventh and playing second base is Mike McCoy. Moises Sierra in right field will hit eighth. And the third baseman is Adeiny Echevarria, and he is going to bat ninth.
26-year-old Phil Hughes on the mound. He'll be making his 26th start. They went a little up and down. You see the ERA, more hits to innings. Respectable, certainly in the American League, the 4.15. Let's take a look at the McDonald's pitcher scatter report. Get on a roll. His last two starts were good. His ERA was 1.28, 1-1. Had a hard luck loss in Chicago. Fly ball pitcher, 46% of his outs are fly balls, highest in the major leagues. And tougher on left-handers. I'll talk about this tonight. He's throwing more changeups, more of a fastball changeup combination to the left-handed batter.
Let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch swung and missed, and we're underway. Davis, 4-game hitting streak. Fouls that away. Davis kept that ninth inning alive yesterday. That was a big hit. 2 outs, runner on first base, and Davis got a single through the left side against Rafael Soriano, and that brought up Colby Rasmus. He then hit a 3-run home run to turn a 6-4 Yankee win into a 7-6 Blue Jay lead.
And you know what really hurt? Ooh, up and in. 0-2 count. You know, Soriano throws a lot of sliders. He complements with the fastball. But when you had 0-2 count last night, he had a chance to put it away and win that ball game. Too much of the plate. Rajay Davis, nice little base hit.
The 1-2. Pitch outside, 2-2.
Not easy. I say it from here, Michael. The fact that what major league pitchers have to do to get the best hitters out in the world. But the general rule of thumb is pitchers will throw strikes early in the count, and then you expand with pitches like that. And most of the time, major league hitters will get themselves out swinging at balls. And that's the whole cat and mouse of what Phil Hughes is going to try to do tonight against the Toronto lineup.
Fouled away. And there's There's Rasmus from last night.
Three-run home run ruined the Yankees' evening.
Want to keep Davis off the base paths. He's got great speed, 39 stolen bases.
Second in the American League. Very aggressive runner, good base runner.
And he walks to start off the game. Let's check out the Yankee defense. And it's brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. It's Ichiro, Granderson, and Jones left to right in the outfield. Nix, Jeter, Cano, and Swisher third to first. Martin is behind the plate, and Phil Hughes is on the mound. The designated hitter and the cleanup hitter tonight is Steve Pearce. I'll tell you more about him when he comes to the plate. Here's Rasmus. You know, the home run he hit was more startling than, let's just say, from another play, because he was in such a bad slump. Coming into that at bat, he was 2 for his last 23. And he got a slider and he just jacked it into the seats.
Well, and prior to that hit and the Blue Jay winning with him in the lineup, they were 0-20 in his last 20 games that he appeared in. 21 home runs. He's got power. He traded with St. Louis a few years ago. A lot of upside. Good center fielder. An element to the Toronto Blue Jay team, and they've been decimated with injuries. It's really hurt them. So you see a couple behind Mike Trout. What a year he's had.
Fouled away.
Talking with John Farrell, the manager of the Blue Jays, just how frustrating it is. Longtime pitching coach with the Red Sox, was in the Cleveland Indians organization, just trying to stay calm and get through it. But when you lose the players that they've lost 3/5 of their rotation earlier in the year, Brandon Morrow going down, Kyle Drabeck, certainly Jose Batista really has hurt.
Runner goes, throw to second. Got him. Now, Al, was that a pitch out or was that just a pitch up and away?
It is a pitch up and away, and let's see if this is a changeup. And you see him looking in. A straight steal. A lot of guys, especially now, I say he's a good base runner. 39 stolen bases. We just showed second in the league. That's a changeup. Look at the quick transfer, feet underneath. Russell Martin, quick tag by Derek. He's been caught now 11 times, Michael. Good fastball there from Phil. Watch here, he's going to the outside, trying to get that little comeback to tag. I don't know whether Rajay thought that Derek didn't get him. Doesn't matter. Second base umpire Chris Conroy, it's all matter.
I'll tell you what, Al, that's a lot to be caught.
Right, the percentage is not good. 11 out of 39.
And that leads the league, 11 caught stealing.
Well, that's, you know, John Farrell, they've been struggling, to say the least, since the injuries to many of their players, starters. And he said there was a series in Baltimore where they basically gave away 13 outs with either guys running, getting caught stealing.
There's a strike to Encarnacion.
A lot of running on 3-2 counts, releasing the runner with less than 2 outs, throwing out at second base, strike him out, throw him out. 2 for 1.
Grounded to third. Nix across to Swisher, and that will do it. Scoreless first inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. Blue Jays nothing, and the New York Yankees coming to bat. Blue Jays, and this is the Yankee lineup that he is going to face, presented by Lexus. The captain, the shortstop, Derek Jeter, leads off. Batting second and playing first, Nick Swisher. Robinson Cano, the second baseman, hits third. Steve Pearce, the DH, is going to clean up. Batting fifth and catching, Russell Martin. The center fielder is Curtis Granderson. He'll hit sixth. Batting seventh, playing right field, Andrew Jones. Jason Nix at third base will bat eighth. Batting ninth and playing left field is Ichiro Suzuki.
27-year-old left-handed pitcher Ricky Romero. I'll tell you what, you talk about a rough season. He is their ace and has not pitched like it, especially of late. 27th start tonight, 8-11. Let's take a look at the McDonald's pitcher scout report. You talk about Tale of Two Cities. How about this? On June 22nd, he was 8-1. Since then, as Michael just said, 0-10 in his last 11 starts. An ERA close to 8. Not good. Brock's Bobbum this year, 2 starts, an ERA of 6.23, 0-2. And lost command. This guy, he's got a good fastball, not great. A great changeup at times, and a good curveball. Just talking to people following and watching the Blue Jays, he just at times just doesn't know where he's throwing it. 8 walks in his last start. Just cutting it off. You're gonna see you've been watching enough games, Michael. A lot of patient at bats here. You have a guy in his previous start walk 8 batters, 5 innings against the Tigers. Make him work.
Jeter swings and misses. Jeter, dramatic home run in the 9th inning yesterday after Soriano had served up that 3-run home run to Rasmus, and then Jeter led off the bottom of the inning with a home run to tie the game at 7. But they gave up a run in the 11th and lost the game 8-7. Another base hit for Derek Jeter. First 15 starts for Ricky Romero, 8-1, 4.34. So the ERA wasn't great. Maybe that was a portent of things to come. And then 0-10, 7.69, as Al mentioned.
Not great, Michael. You're right. But in American League, you give the skew of about 3/4 of a run, especially in the American League East. Probably not deserving of 8-1. Had tremendous run support. Almost 7 runs per game.
That base hit by Derek Jeter, his 41st hit in the month of August. And leading off the first inning, he's hitting around 390. It's been amazing how often he's on base. Nick Swisher takes a strike.
Amazing how hot. We've watched Derek for so many years and just squaring up the baseball. Last night, a heartbreaker and loss for the Yankees. Comes in against a very tough pitcher. Has been tough against him. Casey Jansen, the closer of the Blue Jays. Opposite field home run.
Since July 25th for Derek, a 365 average in 31 games, 50 for 137. And those are the first inning numbers now. After that base hit, 393, 46 hits in the first inning.
And you ask Derek, how you feeling? What's anything different? I'm seeing the baseball, and he smiles. I mean, it's the same. You wouldn't know whether he was in the unbelievable hot streak as he is now or in a slump.
He does not want to be bothered with analyzing why he's doing what he's doing.
Exactly.
2-2. Now, we've heard this a lot. We've actually said it, and I've got to check myself sometimes. He's having one of the best seasons of his career. He's had unbelievable seasons. He's finished in the top 10 in MVP voting. I think what makes this season all the more remarkable, he's 38 years old. That's why we're taking such notice of what he's doing. He's hitting 323, doing what he's doing in the first inning, 393, playing shortstop at the age of 38. That's what makes this remarkable. Yes, he's had great seasons before, but I think this one has come kind of out of the blue at this age. He had a good second half last year, but has followed it up with this entire season. 3-2.
Well, there's no doubt. Look, when you get older, and as soon as you get into some kind of slump, there you see Major League Baseball leader Andrew McCutcheon, the year he's had for the Pirates, Miguel Cabrera. His career high. Let's see here.
Let's see if they send Jeter. They do. The 3-2 is swung on and missed. The throw to second. Jeter stops. He'll get a rundown. And he is tagged out by Encarnacion. So a strike him out, throw him out, double play. You score that 2-6-3.
Well, trusted Nick Swisher. He's been hot, almost as hot as Derek, hitting the rundown. See, Derek sees he was dead. Hopefully that the Blue Jays mess up a rundown. They did not. 2 for 1.
Quickly, we'll check the Blue Jay defense. Brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. Davis, Rasmus, and Sierra left to right in the outfield. Hechavarria, Escobar, McCoy, and Encarnacion third to first. Torrealba behind the plate, and Romero's on the mound. That'll bring up Cano. Blue Jays shift for Cano more in the infield than any team. The third baseman, Echeverria, is way off the line, almost playing where a shortstop would play, and Cano does go line to line, even on ground balls, so I'm surprised they're shifting as much as they are.
John Farrell, good pitching, was a pitcher, shifts almost as much, if not more at times, as you pointed out, Michael, than Joe Madden down in Tampa Bay.
Right into the teeth. They had the second baseman played the pull, and Cano hit it right on the screws to McCoy. So that time, that shift worked, although he probably was standing there even without a shift.
Matter of trusting and throwing it, and you know, I'd use it in spots, but I really wouldn't use it as much as I would like, and it was really something that I sat down with Larry, I sat down with Russell, and we talked about it, and something I really wanted to incorporate, and you know, I threw a bunch of them, and I'm feeling good with it, so you know, it's something that I want to keep going to.
You know, you rob Peter to pay Paul, so he's using the changeup more, and that's why lefties are hitting 202 against him, but righties are hitting 327 against him. So he doesn't want to use the changeup to a right-handed batter because it comes right into the power zone.
Well, and that's usually the norm, Michael. To see arm side pitcher, righty to right-handed batter throw changeups is unusual. It's just the whole danger zone. Floating a slow ball down and in. You want that ball to tail away. The percentage of what Phil Hughes has done in changeups, well, there you see the batting average against the last 2 years. And it's just, to me, you just go right to the changeup. It's absolutely flipped in reverse. You would think a right-handed pitcher should be more dominant against right-handed batters, as he was last year.
Well, can't you be both?
Yeah, what I think what he's doing, and it happens to every young pitcher who's got a good arm, is that you get careless in the zone. And my guess is that he's either leaving fastballs up more, middle of the plate to right-handed batters. He is more of a fastball curveball pitcher to the righty. And if one of your pitches, let's say your secondary pitch is off, you know, just sit fastball. He's not throwing 95 anymore. Larry Rothschild looking closely, Yankee pitching coach. So not to belabor, but you know, when you have that mindset of I can blow by a guy, and you're missing with your command, meaning good pitches outer third or corner, as you should go for corners as a major league pitcher, it's not 95. And at 92, you know, it'll get barreled up middle of the plate.
2-2. 3-2. Let's look at the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. Nice night. 82 degrees, 47% humidity. The wind is 10 miles per hour. It's mostly clear skies, so we'll take it. 3-2. Fouled away.
Nice job last night. David Phelps ended up getting his 7th inning, had a chance to win the ball game. Adam Lind got a changeup hit into the Yankees bullpen. Changeup mistake, one of the very few mistakes that Phelps made last night.
Popped up. Nick Swisher makes the play in foul territory for the first out.
Well, we've seen a lot of that, at least hopefully not too long with Teixeira out. It's Swisher at first. Probably mean more at bats for Andrew Jones and Ibanez.
Now they are not going to put Teixeira on the DL. It's a gamble because the rosters can expand to 40 men, up to 40 men on September 1st. So that's Saturday. I talked to Brian Cash, the Yankee GM today, said what we're doing is we're gambling 3 games with a 24-man roster. Tonight, tomorrow afternoon, and then Friday. He said because if Mark only has to be out 11 days, well, I want him for those final 4 games. I'll sacrifice the 3 games on the front end. He said, so it doesn't make sense for me to put him on the DL now, and if he's ready to come back after 10 days, then I don't have him in those last 5. So they're just going to gamble that they can get by without Teixeira and with a 24-man roster. There's a ground ball to third up the bat of Escobar. Nicks over to Swisher. 2 outs. It's time for the Toyota Text Poll, everybody. Tonight's question is, what has been affected most by the recent rash of injuries to the Yankees? Is it 1 hitting, 2 pitching, 3 fielding? You can text your vote to 42951. Standard text messaging rates apply.
How about food in the clubhouse?
I would say it's probably hitting.
No, that's fielding.
They've lost Nova, they've lost Pettit. That's important. They've lost Mariano. They lost the CC to 2 DL stints.
It could go around.
Hitting wise,
defense has been
Gardner.
great. Defense has been very good this year.
Gardner, A-Rod, now Teixeira. They've had their share of injuries. Jabba spent the first half of the season on the DL, coming back from Tommy John surgery and the ankle injury. And when asked about Teixeira's injury after the game yesterday, Derek G said we've had this all year and you have to battle through, but you wonder, is there a tipping point where one more injury really does hurt? And with Teixeira, you lose a bat in the middle of the lineup, a switch hitter, which balances your lineup, and also just an outstanding first baseman. These are the notable injuries for the Yanks. So it has not been easy. Those are not little pieces there. Fouled away.
Well, obviously, every team and fan base, you look at your club, and that is part of the game. You could go around to many major league teams and you deal with injuries, and how do you get through it? And I think the Yankees, when you could fill in a guy like Eric Chavez or Ibanez, have more playing time, Andrew Jones, often you'll see clubs, they have to reach down to AA or AAA and bring up a kid who's either never played or has limited big league time.
Two. Rip foul.
To get back to
what a play by that guy on the phone, one-handed. He made that look easy.
Check the message.
Oh, his phone's gonna blow up now. The 3-2. Swing and a miss. Torrealba down on strikes. So the Blue Jays go down in order, but there's no better play than this one. One hand, don't drop the phone, inning over, and a big smile.
Hitting cleanup, what went through your mind?
Wow, but you know what, it is what it is. You can go out there and perform. I'm gonna continue to play my game, not try to go outside my means. So it's going to be an exciting night and fun.
That's Steve Pearce, and that's Steve Pearce. He is the designated hitter tonight for the Yankees and the cleanup batter. With Baltimore and Houston in the big leagues this year, 254, 3 homers, 22 ribbies. He has about an 800 OPS lifetime against lefty pitching, and that's why the Yankees got him originally. That was even before Teixeira got hurt. Now he becomes an important player as Romero deals a strike. Yankees got him from the Astros for cash considerations. They got him Monday, so yesterday. Began the season in the Twins organization, attended spring training with Minnesota, was released on 3/27 and signed a minor league deal with the Yankees on March 29th. He spent 53 games in AAA with the Yanks, where he hit .318, 11 homers and 30 ribbies. And he opted out because he wasn't called up by a certain time. He then was traded to the Orioles on June 2nd, played 28 games with the O's, claimed off waivers by Houston, and here he is with the Yanks. So it's been a nomadic year for Steve Pearce. So he played 28 games with Baltimore and 21 games with the Astros.
12 big league home runs. Started with the Pirates, spent 5 years. Really kind of a fifth outfielder, fourth outfielder. Most at bats that he had in the season. Back in 09, he had 186 plate appearances.
Swing and a miss. Like a changeup away as Pearce goes down swinging. Now, to make room on the roster for Pearce, the Yankees sent Casey McGee down to A-ball, where they can call him up easily on September 1st. So when the rosters expand, Casey McGee will come back up. Here's Russell Martin, and when you look at this Yankee lineup, it's a little startling, where you have a guy you just acquired batting cleanup and a guy hitting 196 batting fifth. And that's now with the injury to Teixeira on top of the injury to A-Rod. The lineups against lefty starters are not that threatening. Do they have enough to get it done? Yes, but it's not that 1 through 9 circular lineup that the Yankees usually run out there. Now, the Yankees are 26-19 against lefty starters this season, but of late, that's not the case, because the right-handed batters have not been doing the same job, and a lot of those numbers were compiled when A-Rod was playing. Right now, Martin is slumping, Jones is slumping. Count 1 and 2. I mean, how many times do you think Yankee fans over the last 20 years. Turned on the game, saw the cleanup batter, said, who's that? Probably in the last 20 years.
I think he'd go farther back.
Swing and a miss. The ball is dropped, picked up by Torrey Alba, and they get the out at first. Well, I'm saying 92. You know, maybe during the 2 years that Stump Merrill was the manager, maybe you'd have a player that you weren't that much aware of. Because usually Mattingly sort of that. But man, it may be more than 20 years that you turn into TV with Pierce. Maybe you missed that they acquired him yesterday.
Yeah. Well, it's, you know, interesting. He's got 12 career home runs over a 6-year span. And I guess you could have maybe figured maybe an Andrew Jones, who hits left-handers well, who has been struggling, as you say. Maybe even Grandy.
Fouls it away. Granderson had a rough night last night. He was 0 for 5. 3 strikeouts so far for Ricky Romero. Breaking ball strike. This is what's frustrating for the Blue Jays about Romero. Sometimes he could look like a world beater out there, and then he loses, I don't know, concentration or arm slot, something like that. He just starts getting tagged.
Confidence. That's a big thing, Michael. You know, believe it or not, for a guy as good as Ricky Romero, you know, as you just said, his last 11 starts has been awful.
And his manager is a former outstanding pitching coach, John Farrell. Fly ball, shallow center. Escobar called off by Rasmus, who makes the play, and the Yankees go down in order, 1, 2, 3. All right, we're going to go to the 3rd inning. It'll be the bottom 3rd of the Jays' order. Third inning, and there's no score, Yankees and the Blue Jays. That is an elegantly dressed man. The tie matches perfectly with the jacket, the tortoiseshell glasses, the Lincoln scoreboard blends in. That's really going to the ballpark like you're going to an event. I like that. Mike McCoy takes a strike. We are joined in the booth. This is a guy who's elegant and a gentleman, Jack Curry.
What about the way Alan Eihert dressed tonight?
Well, if you see Alice hiding the stains on his tie right now.
You're so bad. All right.
Because Al dripped some salad dressing on the tie, but he's been assiduously avoiding showing that on camera.
You're a good friend to mention that, Michael.
Mike McCoy with a fly ball in the left field. And Ichiro makes the catch. It's that time of the night now where it's tough to see the ball. But he runs that down. You know, we were talking earlier. There's the tie. Look at it.
It's not awful. I tried it, a salad, nice oil and vinegar, bam. ruined it.
5 spots there, Jack. Have you ever seen anything like that?
And it comes out. It's shiny, isn't it?
We talked about Phil Hughes and all the changeups he's throwing. I'll mention how that makes him more effective against lefties. Why did he start to throw these?
Michael, a couple of starts ago, he was unhappy with the way he had been pitching, and he said, I need to hit the reset button. So he talked to Larry Rothschild and Russell Martin, and they really talked about how he needed to have that weapon, that third weapon.
Moises Sierra with a single left.
Curveball there, but the weapon, because he throws a fastball and a curveball, was going to be a changeup. And the way Russell Martin described it, he said, as Al said, this isn't a pitch you normally would throw to right-hand batters, but there are some righties who can crush curveballs, but you can get them out with a slider. He said Hughes doesn't really have that option to go to the slider, and he actually brought up Edwin Encarnacion. He said he's one of the players, he'll kill curveballs, you can get him out on a slider. Phil doesn't have that, so he went to the changeup, and in his last 2 starts, he threw almost 50 changeups, whereas leading up to that, he usually threw about 9 or 10 a game. And one more thing that Martin said is he said, if you have batters seeing 4-seam fastballs over and over and over again, eventually they're going to catch up with it. He said that changeup changes things because it gives them one other thing that they have to be aware of.
And also, you said this earlier, Al, you keep throwing that many 4-seam fastballs at 92. That's hittable.
It is straight. You know,
and even if you locate it, it could be hittable.
Jack, just to your point here of how, let's see how this plays out, the effectiveness of it. Left-handed batters in July, he threw 12% changeups. He's 23% in August. Those 50 changeups you talked about. 3 pitches. I mean, look, what are reasons why good arm major league pitchers end up in the bullpen? They've got 2 pitches, their secondary pitch is inconsistent. And we've talked about, how long have we been talking about Phil Hughes? Remember changeup, spring training, trying to work on it.
Sadly, though, Jack, and you can speak to this, I mean, the best that Phil Hughes has ever been in the major leagues was in 2009 out of the bullpen.
He was terrific out of the bullpen, right, when you're right, and he had to shorten his repertoire. Although you could look at the 18-win season as well, and he had a great first half that year and tailed off. But he actually talked to that when I spoke to him for our batting practice show the other day, Michael. He said he wants to find consistency, and he admitted that this has been an up-and-down year. Started slow, got on a roll, then skidded again. Now the last 2 starts with the addition of the changeup, he's only allowed 2 earned runs in 14 innings. And what puzzled me a little bit is he said he's liked the feel he has had for the changeup all year long. He just hasn't used it often enough, hasn't gone to it often enough. And I had him in the first 2 innings of this game for 3 changeups. So it's not something that he has gone to too often so far tonight.
So a 1-2 count on Echeverria. Sierra leads off first, 1-2 count. Phil Hughes throws over. What's an update on Andy Pettitte? What's that look like? We saw him throwing in the outfield today.
Right, Michael. He threw off flat ground. He broke it up into 3 segments, and what Joe Girardi liked about it, or seemed to get excited about, is that in the 3rd segment, Andy simulated as if he was pitching off a mound. Now, he wasn't on a mound, but off flat ground, he acted that way, and Girardi seemed excited about that.
Echeverria swings and misses. What's the next step for Andy?
He will throw a bullpen session, but they haven't determined when. Joe Girardi said we need to get him up on a mound. But, Michael, they're being very cautious. They're being very careful. Pettitte already had that 1 setback. And I think what they're looking at now is you have to make 100% sure that when he comes back, he is ready. So I think they're taking their time with him. And no matter how many different ways Joe Girardi was asked about this before the game, he doesn't have the answer yet. He doesn't know exactly when Pettitte is going to be ready to be in a major league game.
Rajay Davis takes high, throw to first, then heading back is Sierra. A lot of people on Twitter want to know what's the 1% thing on the Yankee shirt, or the 1 degree, and what it is. They were all handed those T-shirts in spring training. It's be 1 degree, give 1 degree more effort, I believe, something like that. So that's why they all wear that. They usually wear it under their uniform, but you're seeing A-Rod take BP and Andy in the outfield throwing with that T-shirt. It's not available to the public. It was just given out to the team. They printed it for themselves. Let's talk about Teixeira. What's the update on him?
Obviously, he has the grade 1 strain of his calf. When he spoke to us in the clubhouse today, he said, listen, nothing has changed much from last night to today. Doesn't really have any baseball activities that he can participate in, but what he did say is he's optimistic and is hopeful that he would be back in a week. Joe Girardi said, I would love to have him back in 7 or 8 days. What you said earlier, Michael, about Brian Cashman, maybe it's 10 or 11 days, but you still want him for those final 4 days. The one thing that Teixeira said that I found interesting is a lot of people were trying to compare it to the calf injury that sidelined Jeter. And he said the doctors told him from the MRI that his strain is not as severe. So that's why he's hopeful of getting back within a week.
And how long was Derek out?
Derek was out 3 weeks to a month. I have to go back and check. I'm pretty sure it was over 3 weeks.
Man, that clips Rajay Davis on the way by.
Did he say, Jack, when he stayed in the game and ran around the bases, did that affect him anymore?
You know what, Al? He said that he thought the adrenaline of being on the bases and running would heat things up and would help him, and instead the opposite happened because he stood there for a couple of seconds and he got cold. And then we saw him hobble home, and it was obvious that something was wrong.
It is strange, though, that they're saying that it's not as severe as Jeter's, but they were both grade 1s.
They were
I
both,
guess there's different grades of grade 1.
I guess that's what Teixeira explained to us. He said, right, there's different grade 1s, and his is considered not as severe. So he's hopeful, and he talked about how this season has been difficult for him in terms of dealing with injuries, but he's a valuable player, guys, because you've talked about it. Even if he's not hitting, what he gives them defensively, it's a loss when he's not out there.
Count 0-2 on Colby Rasmus. Top of the third inning, the Yankees and the Blue Jays, 0-0. Another game that you might be interested in, Baltimore leads the White Sox 3-0 at Camden Yards. That's the top of the third inning. We'll keep an eye on that. Tampa Bay and Texas will start in about 15 minutes. The 0-2. Check swing fouled away. First and second here with 2 outs. Rasmus hit the 3-run home run off Soriano yesterday, a rare blown save, and Soriano, I guess, took it okay.
Right, he didn't speak to the media last night, Michael, which is customary. Normally you would get the closer after the game. He said today that he was unaware that members of the media were looking for him, so he did his session today, and he said what you guys talked about last night. He said, I didn't have my slider. It's a pitch I've had all year long. I didn't have it last night, and that was the problem. And he answered some of those questions, Michael, that you know a lot of fans are asking out there. He said, listen, I will bounce back from this. If there's a save situation that I'm needed for today, I will be there. He was asked about, is a save in the midst of a pennant race any more difficult? And he said, none of that was the case. I simply didn't have the feel for a pitch that has been very good to me this year. Obviously, the Davis single and then the Rasmus home.
Rasmus fouls that away.
Now, here's a guy who led the league in saves a couple years ago, Tampa Bay. So he's been certainly in position of 2010, 46 saves. He left up slider middle of the plate. He admitted to it. Didn't have a good feel for it. He's going to throw a lot of sliders. Opposing hitting coaches and hitters know that he's a fastball slider guy.
The 0-2 popped up. Jason Nix in foul territory will make the play, and that will do it. We'll get more from Jack Curry in the bottom of the inning, and we'll find out the timetable for Alex Rodriguez, how soon he might return. J&R Music and Computer World. And by Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. Not a full moon, but certainly lighting up the sky as we go to the bottom of the third inning. And it'll be the bottom third of the Yankee order against Ricky Romero, Andrew Jones, Jason Nix, and Ichiro Suzuki on the Lincoln scoreboard. Each team with 1 hit, and neither team has been able to score a run. Andrew Jones is in a slump, and that's why the Yankees' right-handed bat, or against the left-handed starters, has not been as potent, because he's 4 for his last 32, hitting .209. Got a fastball right by him, and again John Farrell with a drastic shift. He has the second baseman McCoy on the shortstop side of second base. Now, we mentioned that the Yankee right-handed hitting lineup is not as potent as it has been. It will be a lot more potent if and when they get back Alex Rodriguez. So what's the status on that, Jack?
Well, Michael, he took a big step forward today. He took batting practice on the field for the first time. And he looked good out there. We've seen him in recent days running the bases, fielding ground balls, but to actually see a guy get up there and swing a bat, that's what the Yankees need Alex Rodriguez to do. He spoke like a guy who's very close to being back. He said he sees the light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully he'll be back right around the corner. Again, to pinpoint a date, Joe Girardi said, let's let Alex get through these next couple of days. And then after that, he's going to have to go swing a bat somewhere. He's going to need to have some at-bats, some rehab at-bats. But you got the feeling that they're getting much closer to having this guy back in the lineup. And Alex also emphasized he wants to come back and be successful and be productive.
Andrew Jones now swinging. I talked to Brian Cashman today, and he can envision, Jack, Alex Rodriguez going on a rehab assignment this weekend. So if he can get 3 games in a rehab assignment, you might be able to see him in Tampa Bay on Monday.
That was what Joe Girardi hinted at. He was saying, let's get through this week. Let's get through these few days. Let A-Rod hit on the field for a couple of more days. But A-Rod did say, listen, I want to know when I come back that everything is perfect and that I'm ready to go. He mentioned other players who have tried to come back from injuries and who have had issues. David Ortiz, Jose Bautista today, the Blue Jays announcing that he's having season-ending wrist surgery. When I asked Joe Girardi about that, he said A-Rod's situation is different because we're talking about a broken bone, whereas guys, when you're talking about an Achilles tendon or a wrist tendon, bones are going to heal. So he didn't think that that was a good comparison to compare A-Rod to the situations with Ortiz and Bautista.
The 0-1.
Did you say anything about with Teixeira going down? Was there any kind of antsy, geez, I know I got to go slow, but
Al,
they need me?
That's the perfect question, because that's when he said, I've got to be 100% sure. He said sitting in that dugout, 8th inning, game on the line, sure, he'd love to have a bat in his hands, but he can't be impacted by what is going on around him. He has to know that he's ready to come back.
Count 2-1. Well, Alex has a flair for the dramatic. Remember when he came back from the hip surgery against the Orioles, he hits a home run in his first at bat. I think it was the first pitch that he actually saw.
I think you're right, and you mentioned the hip. He did talk about how during this rehab, this recuperation, he really feels as if he has kept his legs in terrific shape. And that's another thing that has buoyed him, because he said, listen, if my legs feel good, I'm going to be able to hit. He said so much of hitting is about how your legs feel, and he feels as if he's kept them in very good shape.
2-2. He has also done a lot of throwing with the football, so if the Jets have scouts out here, I mean, he was a very good high school quarterback, and I think with his size, he probably could play the position.
Little wildcat?
No, I think he'd be just a
sit back.
Yeah, drop back. Yeah, that's why he wears number 13.
But Al, aren't there some pitching coaches who incorporate the football throw into their routine? I've seen pitchers throwing it in the outfield a lot.
Well, that was big with Tom House.
There was a base hit for Jason Nix
back with the Texas Rangers when Nolan Ryan was there, and you know there is some support of throwing a football because the pronation and the heavier ball. I remember Tommy John when I played here in '88. He used to use heavy balls and throw it. It was dangerous in my sense that 5-ounce baseball. Now you're starting to throw a 1- and 2-pound ball. But what happens is some of these guys, they get out there and they start cranking the football. And they all think they're Dan Marino.
Do you
and
know
there
that
could be a danger issue.
Tom House actually worked with Tim Tebow this year during the offseason, trying to get him to throw the ball better. All ties together. Here's Ichiro Suzuki. And there's a strike.
And didn't you sit in the bullpen a couple times with Mariano Rivera? His routine involves a weighted ball. He always picks up a weighted ball.
Yeah, but doesn't throw it. I'm a believer of that. I used to hold the ball and in between innings just feel the heavy aspect of something that's the same size but heavier. You know, the ball feels like a ping pong ball.
Count 0-2. I would assume with Teixeira out that Ichiro almost becomes for sure an everyday player. He's going to have to start against lefties because there's just so many right-handed swinging players that the Yankees have. So I think Ichiro is now an everyday player.
I think you're right, Michael. And when he came over here, he knew he might have to sit against some lefties. But right now, you're right. They're in a position where he's got to be in there. They need some production from him. The question that you said you asked Brian Cashman about the little bit of a risk they take by not doing anything with Teixeira, I asked Joe Girardi the same question. And he said, listen, we've got to get through 3 days. They're basically playing a man down for 3 more games.
Grounded to first, foul ball. Now, what I'm curious about, against a right-handed pitcher, your third baseman is Chavez. Your left fielder is Ibanez. Your right fielder is Ichiro. Who's your DH? You have to use a right-handed batter.
You could DH Martin and start Stewart.
But you're still using a right-handed
right
against a righty.
And
they
you
don't have enough lefties.
You'd have Swisher at first base.
Right.
You're right. Well, you know what, though? They've got to deal with that for a few more games. They'll bring somebody up from AAA perhaps and have that option, whether it's a Chris Dickerson or somebody like that.
There's plenty of batters that bat against right-handed. I know when you get caught in this lefty-righty platoon situation, you kind of fall in love with it. There's plenty of guys that, because of the additional bats, they actually get hits.
Ground ball to third. That little hesitation there cost him the play. He thought about second, then once he started to go to third, Echeverria had no chance to get Suzuki, who picks up an infield single.
Well, that's exactly right, Michael. That hesitation, and as good as Ichiro is, I know he's older, he can scoot. Watch, he thought about going to second base. Forget about it. Ichiro's plenty fast enough to beat that out. Watch here. See that slight hesitation? I'm not sure whether he didn't think that Mike McCoy was there or not. Or maybe Nix was just coming down hard and realized that he would have been safe anyway.
Here's Derek Jeter. I'm wondering, Jack, in working the clubhouse before the game, the last 2 games, is there one of the 2 teams that are chasing them that the Yankees feel more threatened by? Is it the Rays? Is it the Orioles? Do they dismiss one of them as pretenders?
No one is going to say that publicly. I do think the Rays, when you talk to the Yankees about the Rays pitching, there are guys in there who laud the Rays pitching. I remember talking to Mark Teixeira in spring training. Now, it hasn't panned out to this extent, but he talked about the Rays having 4 guys in their rotation who could win a Cy Young. Now, Moore has struggled a little bit, and Price has definitely pitched well. Shields has come on. Hellickson has also pitched very well, but I think if you pinned them down, it would be the Rays. But the one thing I've noticed in being around the guys in the clubhouse the last couple of days is they really are just focused on themselves and getting through the next day. Both CC Sabathia and Phil Hughes said to me, I think we're in good shape. I think we're in a place where we need to be. We're in first place. We're getting a couple of guys back. Alex Rodriguez and Pettit will add to this. CC just got back. And again, I talked about Phil Hughes and consistency before. We get a consistent Phil Hughes in that rotation. Kuroda and what he's given you, I think you start to feel a lot better about yourself. Nova is a guy, obviously on the outskirts too, saying that he thinks he'll only be on his DL stint for those 15 days. I think as much as I'm talking about the Rays pitching, the Yankees want to be able to praise their own pitching.
Exactly. Thank you, Jack. I mean, they're 20 games over 500. They did have a big lead. Yes, they're in a funk right now. 3.5 games back. I think Baltimore's been a great story. There's no question in my mind. I know Joe Madden, you can figure out the offense. Longoria's coming back. They have a very good pitching staff. Not only rotation, but also their pen. But this is New York Yankees, world champions. Guys have been around. You worry about your club. Now, I would say if you're down to 3-game series and you're down by a game and you're going into a 3-game set to end the season, going to Tampa Bay, might be a little different mindset.
Moving out to right center, Colby Rasmus is there. He'll make the catch. Tagging is Nix. He'll move to third on the fly ball by Jeter, 2 away.
Michael, no player, especially these players in this clubhouse and in this Yankee dugout, that would think, oh boy, we're in trouble. No way. No way. There's too many quality, good Major League players. You worry about, like you said, Jack, get healthy. You have very good roster and play the game right.
Now, the Orioles are definitely making moves with the Yankees in their mind. They got Randy Wolf, so they can actually throw 5 left-handers at the Yankees. That's what they're stacking up because they think the Yankees are a little bit weaker against lefties than they are against righties. They picked up Joe Saunders, so they're making moves just for the Yanks. And they're leading 4-0 tonight, bottom of the 3rd inning against the White Sox at Camden Yards. And that's against Chris Sale. Did you see that the Orioles last night against the White Sox drew 11,000 at Camden Yards? I guess they're really not into a pennant race in Baltimore yet.
That's both surprising and disappointing,
yes,
because they have done enough now to have fans come out and watch a team that is right in the middle of all this. So to hear that number, I know you can talk about kids getting ready to go back to school and all that, but that is a shockingly low attendance figure.
And whenever you bring up attendance, and we brought it up in Chicago, people say, well, the economy's bad. I get it. I understand. I'm not spending anybody's money. But people are coming to games. You look around here, there's 42, 43, 44,000 people. So they do go to games. The economy's not only affecting Baltimore and Chicago. Those people are just electing not to believe in their team at this point. And that's certainly their option. The 0-2. Upstairs, 1-2 to Swisher.
Michael, a quick point on the division. You asked about the Rays and the Orioles. I will tell you one thing that has been a big emphasis, and this isn't surprising in listening to Joe Girardi and asking him questions, just how much he is talking about the division. You want to win your division. I know some people will say, well, that goes without saying, but he wants to avoid that 1-game wild card playoff like you wouldn't believe.
The 1-2 gets away from Torrealba. The runner stay put, which means that adding the second wild card is doing exactly what they wanted to do, putting an emphasis on winning the division.
And I'm a fan of it. I like that the division is now the emphasis. I know that some people like Al, who's putting his thumb down next to me, will say 162 games and you can be knocked out in 1 game. You know what? Win the division.
Well, how about that unbelievable day, the last day of the year last year?
Right.
Tampa Bay and Boston and St. Louis and the Braves. That's not going to happen.
Well, you can have another unbelievable day.
Because you're going to go down. You're going to go down a couple more. The only problem I have with this, and I get the whole 1-game playoff, is that you will have potentially the 2nd best record in baseball.
That one's a base hit to center field. Nick Swisher picks up an RBI single as Nick scores. Ichiro stops at second, and Swisher, who has been red hot, continues his clutch hitting and gives the Yankees a 1-0 lead.
Ricky Romero just pounded the zone, comes in again. You said it, Michael. You talk about red hot. I know we talk about Derek Jeter. Nick Swisher has been just as hot, certainly this last 4 to 6 weeks. Keeping the hands inside the baseball, driving up the middle. Big hit. Big RBI right here early in the ball game, 1-0.
76 ribby for Swisher. See, but Al, when you make that argument, you wouldn't have what you had last year. Well, you know what? If you never had a wild card, if you had 1 wild card, you would never have the 1978 playoff game between the Yankees and the Red Sox. As long as you keep adding things, you're going to take away some things as well.
All right, I'm less about that last year's Wednesday, which was a great play-in day, than having potentially the 2nd best record in baseball. And I know you say, well, you should win if a division winner wins 108 and you win 107, you have to play a 1-game playoff. And everybody else in baseball, forget about your league, the most wins was 92. And that's a big hang.
Yeah, but in the old days, that team wouldn't have made the playoffs at all. So at least you have the 1 game to get into it now.
No, last year you play the best of 5.
But you're only taking it back last year. If you take it back before that, you wouldn't even get into the playoffs.
Let's just take it back to last year.
What was that one Western Division in the National League? The Braves?
Braves and
Yes.
the Giants.
103 and one team won 104. One team didn't get in.
And that was the start of the mindset of we need a wild card. They had the second best record in the game.
But then when the Yankees admitting the other year, 2 years ago, that they didn't care if they won first or won the wild card, that was the onset of making winning the division of a paramount import.
You know what, Al? Using your scenario, if you were good enough to win 102 games, you should be good enough to beat the team that won 92 or whatever that you're playing against.
Nice play by McCoy, and he gets the force at second, and that will do it. Great inning with Jack Curry. We'll hear more from Jack on the post-game show. Mike McCoy saved another run, a full-body dive, and the flip to Escobar. The inning is over, but the Yankees have a 1-0 lead. Brought to you by our friends at Subway Restaurants, who on this day in 1965 opened its first store in Bridgeport, Connecticut. So happy birthday, Subway Restaurants. We go back to August 28th of 1977, and on his 27th birthday, Ron Guidry threw a 2-hit shutout against the Rangers at Yankee Stadium. So happy birthday to Ron Guidry. It's also our colleague Lou Pinella's birthday as well. And we'll see Lou when the Yankees are in Tampa next week.
How exciting. My first big league manager, and I got a chance to be on the same team with Ron Guidry.
The 0-1. High fly ball, deep center, backing up Granderson. And on the warning track, he makes the play to retire Encarnacion. Let's check out the New York State Smokers Quit Line quiz question. Al Leiter is one of 2 players to win a World Series at the 1993 Blue Jays and the 1997 Marlins. Who's the other player? Do you know that, Al?
I should be allowed to answer that, no?
Well, you can answer it in the bottom of the 4th, but do you know who it is?
Of course.
Okay.
I think. No.
There's a strike. Popped up. Knicks in foul territory for the second out.
It's some freebies, I call. You missed location. Encarnacion gave it a ride right to the wall, center field. You got some free swinging mindset right now with some of these Blue Jay hitters. That ball was way out of the zone. Adam Lynn.
Sidney Ponson to the ballpark. Boy, he was something else when he came up with the Orioles. He was with the Yankees for a while as well. Now just a spectator tonight. There's a strike.
It's here for a little while, right? A couple years.
Yeah.
Curacao. Aruba. Hensley Mullins was Curacao.
That's right. And the language he spoke, can you tell me that?
Papiamento.
Very good. Wow.
Wow, I'll give you a star. Curacao, also Andrew Jones.
Yep, the 1-1. High drive into left field. Going back is Ichiro. He's going to turn and play that one off the wall. As Escobar has himself a 2-out double.
Well, I mentioned about the 2 outs, and you know, this is where I think Phil Hughes at times gets careless. Careless, what does that mean? Well, this ball, actually I take that back. That ball is inside, good corner. This is good hitting by Escobar. Pulls his hands in. The sense of missing in the zone, that's just a big healthy cut. He pulled his hands in. That ball was in enough to where he wasn't able to hit it over the fence. Ichiro getting that ball back quickly. And I say that, Michael, that just there's an internal mechanism for pitchers to just kind of gear it up a notch, not make mistakes. You got a chance, you got a close ball game, you're facing a pitcher in Ricky Romero that's on. You probably went in to start thinking, wow, I see those numbers. The boys are going to get me some runs. Mistakes are a difference between not just a couple runs, but a win or a loss. Torrealba get a couple curveballs there. It's coming from Russell Martin, slow him down. He's missing with his fastball in the zone. Escobar almost hit it in the Blue Jay bullpen. And I think that's there's a little mild difference between guys with good stuff that win in moments, and then there's moments where you give up a few runs and you kick yourself. 3 curveballs in a row. Or whether he just doesn't feel comfortable, or maybe wants to go after Mike McCoy if he got behind the count as he has here with Torrealba. Saw last night the same thing happened with David Phelps. Torrealba ended up getting a home run on.
Turned him loose on 3-0. Swings and misses through a fastball.
John Farrell letting Torrealba let it fly.
And another strike. Good fastball on the outside corner.
So that's an element of surprise. Curveball, 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 3-0. You get a token fastball, he swings through it, and then another fastball. Torrealba takes it. Let's see if he goes with the curveball here. Sequence of signs with Escobar at second base.
Strike 3. Came back from 3-0 to strike out Torrealba and strand the runner at second. No runs a hit. 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 4th. This is Pierce lead off. We go to the bottom of the fourth, and this is the answer that Al Leiter is going to give us because he's one of 2 players to win a World Series at the 93 Blue Jays and the 97 Marlins. Who's the other player?
I will
Al?
say for about a 5 to 8 year window, he was the best center fielder in the game, Devon White. Devo.
Wow, look at you.
Wow, he
Look
knew his
at
teammates.
you.
Although I was with Ricky Henderson a couple places.
That's right.
He was also on that team in Toronto, 93.
Now there's an even better trivia question involving that one. Do you know who made the last out of the 93 World Series?
93. Okay, so I was there.
You were there.
Joe Carter hit the home run.
Right.
So the last out would have been either, was it Molitor or Ricky?
It was Devon White.
Devon White.
That Mitch Williams got him out and then served up the home run ball to Joe Carter.
I think Ricky and Molitor were on base.
And the great Tom Cheek, the late Tom Cheek. Touch them all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run.
Great call, right?
Yep.
Goes in a flash, Michael. For me.
Pierce takes a strike. That was also the series where you actually got a hit.
I did. First at bat in the big leagues. It was a game 4 in Philadelphia. Borrowed Ed Sprague's bat. I had borrowed everybody's stuff. I don't know who. I think it was Ulrich's helmet.
And you also pretty much, I mean, let's be honest, you got cursed at by John Kruk.
That's right. I hit a double down the left field line. He's trailing the play. His batting average wasn't great. And he was letting me have it.
It's not that easy?
Yeah, it's not that easy. I told him I bet at 260 at high school. I got him even more mad.
Steve Pierce with a walk. Hey, hitting the road, take the Yankees with you this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Yankees out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Yankees.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv, baseball everywhere. It is amazing, Al, if you think about it. You had not hit since high school.
That's right.
And you came up in the big leagues in the World Series and you got a double.
Like 12, 13 years later. You know,
did you close your eyes and swing? I mean, is not to diminish it?
No, but I saw it. It was a high fastball, Roger Mason, and I totally got lucky.
Wow.
Then my next at bat is a few years later, 96, against John Erick's first at bat against Pittsburgh for the Marlins, base it up the middle. I was 2 for 2 big league at bats.
But then it went down.
Oh yeah, totally. That was awful. Completely. You know what it made me appreciate, and also I think pitching and being able to hit, see how difficult it is to hit, made me a better pitcher. Because when you all those years, there was an interleague, never hit. In spring training, they would allow DH in both National League, spring training, and American League. So pitchers never hit. When I finally got in the box, man, is that what it looks like? Fastball, a little sink, hard slider.
That ball bounced. Torrealba can't get a handle on it. Heads up base running by Pierce as he advances to second.
Nice heads up. Steve Pierce seeing this changeup in the dirt, being aggressive. This is secondary lead. Saw the ball kick in front. Torrealba did a nice job blocking it, but watch the secondary lead. Boom, he jumps right away. Doesn't have great speed, but the instincts of wanting to get to second base got him there.
So Russell, who struck out in the second inning, he's down in the count 1-2. Now he wants to hit the ball to the right side and move Pierce to third. Yankees lead 1-0. Romero deals. And that's exactly what he does. Nice hitting by Martin. One away, and Pierce is at third base.
Michael, that's I love the small ball aspect of baseball. I know American League, you see a lot of home runs and big scoring games. That is a good at bat. It's a productive out. Moving Pierce to third base. Now there are a lot of different ways of scoring, less than 2 outs. And what Ricky Romero tried to do, don't float a little fastball away and easily have a hitter hit the ball on the right side. They fought off a fastball and a nice at bat. Go unnoticed. We'll say over. Let's see what Grandy can do here.
They bring the infield in.
And when you have a low-scoring game, as this is playing out right now, 1-0, the small little aspects of the game, you can push a couple extra runs, makes a difference when you hit the 9th inning.
Been a difficult month for Granderson. 17 hits and 88 at bats. That's a 193 average. And of the 88 at bats, he struck out 29 times. Flied out to center in the second. Big spot for him. And he's going to get the run in. That one's driven deep to center field. Rasmus back, makes the catch. Tagging is Pierce. And he will score a sac fly for Granderson. It's 2-0 Yankees.
Well, you get that high five across the board, but here Granderson, you go up to Russell Martin, enabled him to be in position to do exactly that. Score a run on a long fly ball. Well done. Small ball here in the bottom of the 4th inning for the Yankees. 75th RBI for Grandy.
Here's Andrew Jones. Pitch outside. Romero deals the 1-0. There's a strike. Good fastball on the outside corner. One and two. Grounded to third. Echevarria across the diamond, and that will do it for the final out of the 4th. 1 run, no hits, small ball, nobody left on base. It's 2-0 Yanks. Chris, so scrappy, that's the way you have to look at it. They are scrappy, and they continue to put pressure, and they'll meet the Yankees this weekend here at the stadium Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here's Mike McCoy against Phil Hughes, and the first pitch is popped up. Nix. 1 away. So 1 pitch, 1 out. That has to make a pitcher feel pretty good. The Cadillac scoreboard, it's 2-0 Yankees.
Pound in the zone, no doubt about it. Keep that pitch count down. You want to go deep into the game. You love it, Michael. Feed off the aggressiveness of some of these young hitters in this Toronto lineup that's been decimated by injuries.
And a strike to Moises Sierra. Oh, 2.
Big healthy cut. That's a big swing right there. Long swing. This is what I'm talking about, Michael, where you have an opportunity to make the pitcher's pitch. 0-2 count. He just said, here it is, hit it, blew it by Sierra.
You know, we always hear that Phil throws a straight fastball out. Is there any way to make the ball move?
Yeah. Throw a two-seamer or with the seam as opposed to cross seam. Get your hand off a little bit off center.
Then why does it continue to throw a straight fastball?
Comfort. You get people out. They're not there yet because he has enough velocity to get it by guys. Hit the combination of a straight fastball. Still, if you can throw a straight fastball, if I'm here and here and it's straight and I have a breaking ball, curveball, slider, what Phil uses, less slider, and now he's throwing more changeups. So now that is a straight, true fastball, 91. It's enough velocity. It's not great. It's got a little bit of tail there. That's a little deceiving. Watch this, where Russell Martin sets up. Probably a little 2 or 3 inch movement.
Fly ball right center, long run, and making the catch is Jones for the second out.
It's good at bat. Fastball in, moving the ball around, and that is the game. You have a pitcher on the mound, if they have quality stuff and they can make pitches. It's tough for hitters. I don't care how good they are to be able to hit it hard and score runs.
Here's Adani Echevarria. I'm sorry. Count 0-1.
Now, I wonder that V is probably silent, right? In Spanish.
Echevarria. Right. The H is silent. Popped up. You know, when we were in Toronto, I was told by at least 2 people, and that's why the pronunciation we had yesterday was actually not what we're saying today. I was told by 2 people it was Echevarria. And I just checked it today because I wasn't sure, and then another person told me, no, it's Echevarria. So don't pronounce the H.
And don't pronounce the V. I'm on the V now. It's B. You get the H. It's Echevarria.
No V. B. Thanks, Al. That pronunciation guy from Al Leader. And the 0-2. Foul back.
See, I'm thinking right here, 2-0. This guy's a good fastball hitter. Let's see where. All right, so that was higher than high. A little above the belt that it helped Hughes for Echevarria to not square it up. That, to me, is a little too good. Get on the corner. All right, expand down. That's what you have, 0-2. That's the whole point. You throw strikes. Pitchers will throw strikes over the plate to get to 2 strikes, and then you expand off the plate. And more aggressive hitters will swing at balls. It's kind of the basic formula from Little League on up. Not easy. Best players in the world.
Driven out to right field and deep. Going back, Jones on the track at the wall. See ya. Home run, Echevarria, and the Blue Jays are on the board. Yankees lead 2-1. And the home run has been a bugaboo for Phil Hughes all year.
Well, not to beat it, Michael, but you know, I just was watching that. He was getting some early outs and some quick outs, and I know it's only a run, but if you watch here, he's 0-2. He threw the curveball down the dirt for 1-2, and now he throws similar. Okay, so now this is outer third off the end of the bat up. Was able to narrow it up enough, and look, right field here. Hitters stay on it, it'll fly. Just a little too good for a young hitter who likes to hit the fastball. Just stayed with it. First career home run.
And the 30th allowed by Phil Hughes. Fly ball, right field. Andrew Jones is there. He'll make the play, and that will do it. But Hughes gives up a solo home run to Echeverria, his first big league home run. We're halfway through. Yankees lead 2-1. Special giveaway with the Yankees take on the Orioles on Saturday, September 1st. The first 18,000 guests, 14 and younger, are going to receive a Yankee student binder courtesy of Turkey Hill. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the stadium ticket window, Yankees clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. That'd be nice for the kids to get out.
We going to get one?
Well, you're not working this weekend.
Could you get it one?
No. Nick fires one past Echeverria for a leadoff single here in the fifth. So Nix is 2 for 2.
Nice start. We saw that last inning with Steve Pearce, who walked and resulted in a run. Hot smash. Jason Nix, this ball down in the zone. Just gets down and gets a barrel right past Echeverria. A little late reaction. Now, Echeverria is really a shortstop. There's talk about potentially seeing what he looks like over at second base. They don't think he's going to be a future third baseman. With Alex Escobar at shortstop, this is his spot. See that, Zunel.
And Ichiro bunts foul. Cadillac scoreboard, it's 2-1 Yankees lead. You know, John Flaherty said this over the weekend, Al, when the Yankees were playing the Indians. You can't let a bad team think they have a chance to win. You got to stomp on them early because they'll give up. They have nothing to really play for if they fall behind early. If the game's close, they're going to start to think they can win.
Sure. Look, they're major league players, and especially what becomes dangerous when you face like what's going to happen in Toronto down in September. You have a lot of nasty little. That's a cut fastball, 92. It almost looks like a slider. Ichiro, fool. You have a lot of young players that want to prove to their GM and major league scouts that they could play in the big leagues. That is a 92-mile-an-hour cutter. Tough pitch.
Missed inside. And also it gets tougher in September when a team like Toronto might have 40 guys up. And then you've got a bullpen that's 17 guys, and they can mix and match. It's different than playing a normal everyday game, and I think it becomes a disadvantage for the contending team. And I think it's something that baseball should change.
Meaning designate your roster for that given night.
Yes, I don't think one team should have a roster of 38 and the other team should have a roster of 29. I think if you want to get those kids up and give them experience, then each day you could designate a roster of 27 or 28.
Or even go to 30, whatever the number. I agree. To have 40 players just sitting around or opportunity to play.
Popped up. Echeverria is there, and he puts it away for the first out. Derek Jeter comes up, and that means it's time for tonight's MetLife stat of the game. This season, Derek Jeter has 63 hits against left-handed pitchers, and that's the most in Major League Baseball. So one of those 63 hits came in the first inning.
Has always been able to hit the left-handed pitchers his whole career. His whole approach is right center. Most left-handed pitchers live away, which is an area in which it'd be easier to hit to right field.
Jeter hits .373 against left-handed pitchers, and that leads the American League. Count 0-1.
See, now Romero, what he has shown tonight is that he's got that cut fastball in on the righties, and he really has established that. Really, the combination of what Romero has done to be one of the better pitchers in the American League when he's on is that changeup down and away. He really hasn't thrown it many times tonight. Primarily fastball, that cutter that Derek just fouled off, and the curveball.
0-2.
See, Derek a little uncharacteristic right now for a guy as hot as Derek is to swing at a ball that high. Not happy about it. Romero coming right at him. Let's see if he goes off speed, expands in the dirt. Jason Nick's taking a close look, seeing whether he got as a shot to advance a base here.
Runner goes. The 0-2 swung on and missed. So Jeter down on strikes and a stolen base for Nix.
Derek just could not hold up. That ball again was a ball. This is a cut fastball out of Romero's hand. Up out of the zone. Torrealba just putting it in his back pocket. Jason Nix stolen base.
So Derek is 1 for 3. And here's Nick Swisher. Nick drove in the Yankees' first run, a 2-out single in the third inning. He and Derek Jeter really have been the forces for this offense in August. I mean, the 1-2 punch at the top of the lineup have done the most damage. So another ribby on the pond right now for Swisher. Runner at second, 2 outs, bottom of the fifth. Count 1-0.
There's that changeup right there. No, and hey, this is a big out for Ricky Romero and the Blue Jays. Down by 1, a tough hitter, and Swisher's hot, and it doesn't get any easier with the lefty on deck. I think Romero's going to treat this whole at bat like it's 0-2.
Grounded foul.
Well, much better than I thought coming into tonight's game. It was said about how poorly Ricky Romero had been pitching. 0-10 in his last 11 starts. Not tonight. Changing speeds. But that good cut fastball.
Count 2-1. Swisher's count to 3-1.
Yeah, I sense the whole at bat right here that Romero's not defensive, just respecting and honoring a guy that is hot. His numbers, you just said, 327 in August with the 6 home runs. Once you get behind, you just don't want to lay in an easy fastball. That's what he's doing right now. This is definitely a fastball count. Let's see if he comes back with that changeup.
And he walks Nick Swisher. And that passes the baton to Robinson Cano. So Torrealba will go out and talk with Romero. And this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. So that conference is over. Now that the deal with Cano.
Well, same thing now, Michael. You never want to walk a guy to get bases loaded, but with the lesser experienced Steve Pearce on deck to share out, let's see if he gets a lot of that right there. Why would you let Robinson Cano beat you? You're going to get it bad counts. You're going to say, okay, if I get in hitter counts, I'm going to pitch around Robbie. If he wants to swing at a ball, go ahead. I'll take my chances with Steve Pearce.
The 1-0. 2-0.
It's the faith in John Farrell, the manager of the Blue Jays, and knowing that he has a veteran pitcher, Ricky Romero. Instead of just doing the here's 4 balls, let's pitch to Pearce. Trusting that this entire bat, Ricky Romero is treating Robinson Cano as an 0-2 count. If you're going to swing, you want the RBI, you're going to swing it at my pitch.
Shattered bat and a ground ball to McCoy. That'll do it as Ricky Romero works into and out of trouble. No runs a hit. 2 men left. We played 5 at the stadium. 2-1 Yankees. Rasmus will lead off the 6th. What has been affected most by the recent rash of injuries to the Yankees? You've been texting us, and here's how you voted. 44% say it's pitching, 39% say it's hitting, and not too many care about the fielding.
Now they're saying because the fielding has been good.
True.
It is. It does come down to pitching. You see that last inning with Ricky Romero.
Colby Rasmus with a high pop-up foul and out of play.
You know what the obvious question, but you know you face the better teams, the playoff teams. You're going to be facing the better arms, or at least guys that have had good years. That's why they're in the postseason. You're not winning every night. 12-10.
Right in on the hands of Rasmus. Again, another foul ball.
I mean, it's fair to say you've been covering Yankee baseball a long time. That run where the Yankees were winning seemed like every year, while their offense was fantastic. It really, they've had spectacular postseason pitching performances.
And a great bullpen. The 0-2. I think in baseball now, I don't know if you agree with me, Al, I think you need a great bullpen to win a World Series. I think you can get by with so-so starting pitching. If you have a bullpen that you can fashion 12 outs out of, you're an advantage. I mean, look how Tony La Russa used his bullpen for the Cardinals last year, and the way Joe used his bullpen in 2009.
Well, I agree. I think because it's become so specialized. We're talking about here that the Yankees are going to be down a man. Well, they have the same amount of bench players as the Blue Jays because the Blue Jays went with 8 relievers and the Yankees have 7. So you have 8 relievers in Toronto's pen. You see that often, especially in the American League, because of all the mix and match. Specialty, setup, 7th inning guy, 8th inning guy.
And Rasmus walks to start off the 6th.
You mentioned that last night about the switch hitting home runs. Why Mickey Mantle didn't have more.
Right. Because they didn't have many relief pitchers.
Right.
They didn't change. The starter usually went the whole way.
Yeah, lefty start. He was pretty much finishing the game.
Here's Encarnacion. Grounded to third. Flied out to deep right. Oh, check that deep center. Missed outside.
Could be dangerous right here. The year that Edwin Encarnacion's having 34 home runs. The duo between Jose Bautista and Encarnacion is very lethal. Now it's down to Encarnacion.
And it's amazing how they lost Bautista. He had a foul ball here at the stadium last time the Blue Jays were here. They didn't think it was anything serious. He was on the DL for a while. Played a game. They had to shut him down. Now he's getting surgery to repair the problem. I mean, he just took the heart out of their order. And the protection for Encarnacion.
Now, if you see what's going on here, take a look back at the injury to Bautista on July 16th. Very painful. Now going to have surgery, as you said, Michael. Wow, what a couple of years he's had. Tremendous power.
3-0. Strike.
Couple pitches there. Russell Martin a little frustrated, kind of looked at Phil Hughes, said, let it go. You get careful and tight in a close game, especially with somebody like Encarnacion. Now you got the walk with Rasmus. You end up being careful. That's when you make mistakes.
And Encarnacion walks, so Hughes has walked Rasmus and Encarnacion. Let's see how they went after Encarnacion. We'll take a look at the Mazda pitch by pitch.
You know, I think really what's happening here, it's middle of the game. He leads off with a curveball, just kind of lets it go. And that pitch right there, Russell Martin was saying, throw the baseball. 2-0. He's in a fastball count. And then he gets this token fastball for a strike. 3-1 off the plate with another breaking ball. Almost pitched like he was trying to pitch around him to get to Adam Lynn. Dangerous with nobody out. You know, you have one batter out, you're always one pitch away. The double play ball, Derek Lowe getting ready. And that's the scenario. This is where, you know, it's hard to kind of quantify or grab hold of, you know, what is the issue. You know, 26 years old, Phil Hughes has been around long enough. All-star. You know, there's moments in games like this, you step off and remember walking around and say, okay, come on, let's go. You know, there's like a little bit of pick-me-up. What do I need here? Let's be aggressive. Make pitches. You know, it's getting later in the game. You're up to 92 pitches.
Here's Adam Lynn, first and second, nobody out here in the 6th inning. Foul away. Lynn, a much better hitter with runners in scoring position this year, 16 for 48. That's .333, and overall he's at .229. Count 0-2.
Well, thank you right there. Pitched around Encarnacion. 2 balls that looked like off the plate. Lynn just waving at it. Got a chance to strike him out here.
And the 0-2. Fouled away. So making Hughes work. He's up to 95 pitches.
Hasn't thrown as many of those changeups we talked about it. 12% last month. Now he's up to 23% against left-handers. You got a spot here, maybe high fastball, higher than high, neck high. Come back with that changeup. Stay away from the nitro zone down and in. That's that breaking ball from right-handed pitcher to the left-handed batters. A little dangerous if you don't get to the back leg.
High fly ball down the right field line. Andrew Jones in the corner at the wall. He makes the play. Rasmus tags and goes to third. Staying put at first is Encarnacion, so there's one out and a long out.
Wow, Michael, this is, he was in a spot where feeling the curveball down and in was a dangerous spot for most left-handers, especially here at the stadium. Misses with his changeup. It ended up being, he kind of hooked it, yanked it inside, and oh boy, when he hit this, let's see, right down the middle. Out in front, was a changeup through a couple 92s. You saw Adam Lind out in front, which really got him the sting of the bat off and was able to pop him up.
Hit it to the shortest part of the ballpark, and Andrew Jones used up most of the real estate out there. Here's Yunel Escobar. Double play is still in order, so the Yankees have the infield back. Line to right at Cano. Fires to third. Double play. Bad base running by Rasmus. He got too far off, and Cano with a strong throw to Nix doubles him up to end the inning. Cano goes up to get it, comes down, and then fires to third. What Rasmus was doing, it's anybody's guess. We'll go to the bottom of the sixth. Well, you have to wonder where Colby Rasmus was going there, Al. It didn't make sense. The ball goes over Cano's head. He can walk home.
Right. Crawl on his knees. Now, I think what happened, Colby Rasmus, you get your secondary lead, Michael, and I think he got to a point where he thought he was close enough where if Robbie caught it, he could get back. He was wrong. Robinson Cano is strong as any arm at second base in the game. He was just too far. Bad base running.
All right, we go to the bottom of the sixth. Yankees still lead 2-1, so Hughes works out of that jam. First and third, one out. First and second, nobody out. And here is Steve Pearce.
And, you know, I say bad base running, especially when you are in a ball game like this. Here you are in the sixth inning, 2-1. Obviously, every run potentially will matter. It's not a blowout. Could get swept under if it was a bigger difference in the score right now.
Pearce with a fly ball to Rasmus. Puts it away, 1 out. Let's take a couple more looks at that play at third on the Coors Light freeze can.
Yeah. Beautiful. I mean, Robinson Cano, we're not talking about just an average, normal Major League second baseman on a Coors Light freeze can.
Really went up there, huh?
And then the rocket arm.
Russell Martin with a high fly ball to center. And Rasmus puts that away for the second out. Later tonight, This Week in Football kicks off a new season on Yes. Our Gridiron Gang breaks down the Jets and the Giants offseason moves and previews their 2012 schedules. Plus, get one-on-one interviews with Eli Manning, Mark Sanchez, and Rex Ryan. A new season of This Week in Football presented by Geico. It premieres tonight after the postgame. It's only on Yes. She's ready for some football.
Go Big Blue.
First game is next Wednesday. Giants-Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Yep.
Is that down in Dallas?
No, it's in New York. Oh, Jersey. There's a strike.
What do you mean? Oh, Jersey.
No, I said New York. It's in Jersey.
Okay, that was better.
Right.
That's that little peppy. Little sensitive, you know.
That's why you lived in New York all those years. There's a strike. Didn't you?
I lived in Manhattan.
Let me check my map. That's New York. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, and Granderson down on strikes. He is tagged out by Torrealba, and a strong 6th inning for Romero. He retires the Yankees in order. We'll go to the 7th, 2-1 Bombers. All right, we go to the 7th inning. We'll take a look at tomorrow's starting pitchers, brought to you by Verizon Fios. Introducing Verizon Fios Quantum Speed. Internet twice as fast as anything America's ever seen. Remember, everybody, it's a Wednesday matinee, so our coverage is going to begin at 12:30 with the pregame. First pitch right around 1:07. It'll be Jay Happ, 9 and 10, 4.68 against CC Sabathia, 13 and 3, 3.44. He pitched very well. His first came off the DL after inflammation in his elbow. Yorvit Torrealba will lead off here in the 7th against Phil Hughes. Breaking ball inside, 1-0. Cadillac scoreboard 2-5-0, leading 1-3-0. Ground ball to short. Jeter gets in front of it and gets Torrealba for the first up. Angels now lead 5-0 over the White Sox. That's the bottom of the 6th inning. And there is no score, Texas and Tampa Bay. I believe that's the top of the 3rd. Here's Mike McCoy. He scored the winning run yesterday in the 11th inning. And there's a strike. Yankee bullpen, I would guess, is a little short tonight. You see Lowe up there again. You've used Robertson 2 days in a row. He doesn't like to use him 3 days in a row. You've used Soriano 2 days in a row. He will use Soriano 3 days in a row. There's a strike to McCoy.
Well, big inning right here. 2-1 ball game. You get the quick first out. 102 pitches. Keep that limited to where Joe could go to his 8th inning pitcher. Yeah, we'll see if Robertson is available.
Well, Martin thought that was strike 3. Getting ready to throw it to 3rd.
Good
Haven't
pitch.
questioned many of Ed Hickok's calls, so that means he's done a pretty good job. That was a good pitch, though. That just missed. Hughes doesn't like that call either.
Well, see, I have a problem with that. You hope that Ed Hickox isn't mad at Russell Martin just because he kind of froze and held the glove the previous pitch. There's a slider. Yeah. Now watch Russell Martin kind of pull it up just a little.
High fly ball, left field. Ichiro Suzuki is there, and he puts it away for the second out. So 2 down, and that'll bring up Moises Sierra. Line drive into center field. It's a base hit.
Middle of the plate. Dangerous. 2-1 game. You want to go outside corner. Sierra, young player, but a lot of upside with his power. You saw that ball leak back over the middle of the plate. Hit that ball hard. That's where you fight. You fight as a pitcher. You just bear down. It's a look of, okay, I'm making my best pitches right here. Best pitch of the day right here.
Here's Atheny Echeverria. There's a strike. Count 1-1. Last 3 starts, Hughes against Boston, 0 earned runs. Against Chicago, 2 earned runs. Tonight, 1 earned run.
It's good, getting on a roll. 1.28 ERA with the 4 unearned runs against the Red Sox. Heartbreak loss in that Chicago game.
Fouled away, 1-2.
Late on the fastball, Echeverria has shown he could hit the fastball. When you see a late swing, you wonder if he's going to come back with the fastball or shown a few flailing attempts at the off-speed pitch. Swung and struck out in his first at bat on a changeup. Yesterday, a curveball got him out. David Phelps.
pitch is swung on and missed. And Echevarria goes down on strikes. No runs, a hit, no errors, and one man left on base. That was Phil Hughes' 500th career strikeout, and it gets it to end the top of the 7th inning. Time for the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium, and we'll stay here to honor America in the Bronx.
Silent prayer as we remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the globe. Thank you. Now, join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
The A's are unbelievable. They're 13 games over 500. They're making a run to actually win the West. Only the Rangers playing great baseball holding them off. Time for the game summary brought to you by your local Nissan dealer. 2-1 Yankees lead the Blue Jays. Echevarria, solo home run at first of his career. Swisher an RBI single. Knicks 2 for 2 with a run scored. Andrew Jones leads off against Ricky Romero. Cadillac scoreboard 2-1 Yankees lead. Tonight Jones is 0 for 2. He's 4 for his last 34. With the injuries, he's going to have to start picking it up as Brandon Lyon warming. Since the acquisition of Ichiro Suzuki, Jones has really hit the skids. 8 hits and 52 at bats. That's 154 over 34 games. And I don't know how one has anything to do with the other because it didn't take any time away from Andrew Jones. He just has not swung the bat well since they got Ichiro.
Well, just watch it tonight, Michael. Normally, obviously, the lefty-righty tandem of his opportunity with Ibanez, it looks to me he's just not able to be balanced enough to square up that ball. So he's been getting a lot of cut fastballs in or third and just not getting to it. What happens is when you know pitchers are pounding you, especially on the inside part of the plate, you start cheating a little bit, leak on the front side. Susceptible to off speed.
Preparing to use David Robertson for the 3rd straight day. It's strange because he's having a second half like his first half last year. And he really turned it on in the second half last year and had a pretty good first half this year. But has not been great since the All-Star game. Still has 13 home runs, though. And that's why he's in there. Hit the long ball against lefties. High pop-up. And Yunel Escobar with the call and the catch.
Tomorrow night, comedian Tracy Morgan sits down with Michael Kay for a very real GMC Presents Center Stage. See a side of the Bronx native you've never seen before as the 30 Rock star opens up about his childhood and how SNL has changed his life. It's a new Center Stage tomorrow at 10 o'clock and again Friday after the postgame, only on Yes.
Here's Jason Nix. One of the questions that I asked Tracy Morgan, when he was a kid, he used to sell souvenirs outside Gate 4 at Yankee Stadium. And now you look at him, and not only is he the star of 30 Rock, and he was on SNL, but you see him a lot sitting in the first row of seats behind home plate in the legend seats. And I asked him, what's it feel like knowing that you went from selling souvenirs outside Gate 4 to now sitting in the best seat in the house? And you'll have to tune in to hear his answer.
Oh.
Foul back. One of the people he credits with most of his success is Lorne Michaels, the head of Saturday Night Live. And I was there one night when Al actually met Lorne Michaels at an after party. That was fun. It was a special moment. Let's put it that way.
It was special. And I was very grateful that Lorne still likes me. Maybe he doesn't.
It really was one of the great moments I've ever had outside a ballpark.
That was fun.
It was great. It was a great night. It really was. It was me, you, David Cohn. We had a good time.
Yes.
It was the final episode of an SNL rap party.
Think of all of the great comedians and talent that Lorne Michaels just put through. Stars.
There's a strike. 2-2.
One of the stars, right? Aren't you doing a little cameo in one of the SNL stars?
Adam Sandler's movie, Grown Ups 2, yeah. It's really not a cameo, it's a significant role. I had my own trailer, okay? You'll have to wait till next summer when it comes out. Grown Ups 2.
Look forward to it.
2-2. Grounded foul. Play a football coach.
Do you really?
Uh-huh.
Whistle, all bet.
The whistle, the hat, cut off sleeves, Belichickian. 103 pitches for Ricky Romero. Knicks has scored a run, 2 singles and a stolen base. Yankees lead 2-1. Here's the 2-2. High fly ball, left center. Wow. Rasmus makes the catch. Rajay Davis looked like he was on Dancing with the Stars. He didn't know where that was. And they both were looking at each other. Finally, Rasmus made the catch.
We saw that last night.
Yep.
You know, I don't know what the command is here, but you have a high pop-up fly ball. First of all, I don't know why you wouldn't want to catch it. We saw the deferring last night, similar to the left fielder, right fielder, waiting for Colby Rasmus. You see on the Yesmo, he comes back. The general rule of thumb is left center, right center. Your center fielder catches it, but that to me looked like a fly ball to left.
Well, whatever the case may be, anything a center fielder should get to, he should make the catch. I mean, he's there. Instead, they're looking at each other, and they almost dropped the ball in right field last night, as you said, and that one almost fell. And in a 2-1 game, that's significant. Ichiro serves that one into short center, but right there is Escobar for the final out of a 1-2-3-7. We've got a pitcher's duel here in the Bronx. Yankees lead the Blue Jays 2-1 as we head to the 8th. Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Ford, the official truck of the New York Yankees. And look at that, we pan over to the right, and it's time for the call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T. As Joe Girardi will go to his bullpen, he replaces Phil Hughes with David Robertson. David, another splendid season. Look at the numbers, 60 strikeouts and 44 1/3 innings.
Good year. The proud new papa of a baby boy came in last night, scoreless inning, gave up a couple hits, got out of it. See if he can hold down this 8th inning. And what a job to Phil Hughes now. 3 starts in a row. Made some pitches when he had to.
He's going to face the top of the order. Start with Rajai Davis. Davis walked, caught stealing, hit by a pitch, and then flied out to right. Hyundai scoreboard, 2-1 Yankees lead. Soft ground ball to first. Nick Swisher's there. He'll take it himself and beats Davis to the bag. 1 pitch and 1 out.
Beautiful for David Robertson, Yankees, and it's rather benign little ground ball to first. Robertson getting off the mound, making sure.
Here's Colby Rasmus, Joe Girardi on the bullpen phone. Boone Logan is up. And a strike to Rasmus. I think they might bring in Logan to face Lind if it gets that far. Fly ball center field, shallow, coming on is Granderson for the 2nd out.
Yeah, it's a good call, Michael. You wouldn't have Boone Logan just warming up just for the heck of it.
Going over the matchups. So this is a big batter for Robertson and the Yankees. Edwin Encarnacion. Also, you clear Encarnacion, you make it easier for your closer in the 9th inning, lower part of the order. Check swing, a roller to first. Right there is Swisher. Good job by Robertson. He retires the Blue Jays in order. 1, 2, 3. We're going to the bottom of the 8th inning and the top of the Yankee order. They lead 2-1. Text your vote to 42951 or vote online at yesnetwork.com. Tonight's candidates are number 1, Phil Hughes. Number 2, Nick Swisher. Number 3, Ricky Romero. And number 4, Dani Echevarria. You can text your vote to 42951. Vote now and make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. New pitcher is Brandon Lyon. Good numbers. 2.86 ERA. 7 more strikeouts in innings pitched.
Good pickup. You know, the Blue Jays, they've had their injuries, but their bullpen has been very good. Brandon Lyon was a nice addition. Even with the loss of Sergio Santos, who they thought was going to be their closer, Casey Jansen's done a nice job.
Hyundai scoreboard 2-1.
A little double barrel action there. Brad Lincoln, Aaron Luke.
Jeter singled in the first, fly to center in the third, struck out in the fifth. 41 hits in the month of August. 2-2.
Derek just caught it between here. I didn't like the second pitch that Hickox had called the strike. That ball's up, out over the plate. Big healthy cut by Derek.
Missed outside. Lyon wanted that one. How close was this? Off the plate.
Had the right height. That ball was just off the plate a little. Oof. Barely.
Sky to right field. Sierra makes the play on the run for the first out. Tomorrow afternoon, it's a midweek matinee as the Bombers and the Blue Jays collide in the series finale right here at the stadium. Coverage will start at 12:30 with the Tri-State Ford pregame, and then Al Leiter and I are back to follow all the action, only on Yes. CC Sabathia will start against Jay Happ.
Should be a good one. Two good left-handers, veteran CC, Jay Happ. Picked up in a trade with Houston along with Brendan Lyon.
Here's Nick Swisher. Nick 1 for 2. Texas taking a 1-0 lead over Tampa Bay, bottom of the fourth. There's a strike. Home run by Ian Kinsler. The only run in that game. And Boston 6-0 over the White Sox, top of the eighth. I said Boston. I'm sorry. It's Baltimore 6-0. Boston will start at 10:05 against the Angels in LA. Soriano will get another chance in the ninth inning to close this one out. A rare blown save last night.
Jack Curry on during the game, and just how Soriano today admitted that he was off with his slider for a guy that depends a lot on it as a closer. Rafael Soriano left one up. Colby Rasmus in their homer. Ruined his night. Ruined the Yankees' night.
Intense conversation with bullpen coach Mike Harkey. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Swisher down on strikes.
Coming with an all off-speed jump. That big curveball has stayed soft to Swisher the entire time. Mike Harkey going over a scout report. You see that often with bullpen coaches. Mike Harkey, longtime coach now with Joe Girardi and friend. You go over who the potential batters are in the next inning and what the scout report is. Just a little reminder as the pitcher's warming up to try to execute those pitches.
Here's Cano. And the count 1-0. Strike on the outside corner, 1-1. If you want to look ahead to the ninth inning, it'll be Lind, Escobar, and Torrealba against Soriano. Popped up. Echeverria in short left field, called off by Davis, and that will do it as the Yankees are down in order. Let's see what the Blue Jays can do against Soriano tonight. He gets a second chance. Gets the WB Mason postgame as Chris Sheeran recaps tonight's action against the latest news from around baseball. Plus, Jack Curry with the team's reaction, including Joe Girardi's thoughts in the manager's report. It's the WB Mason postgame. It is only on Yes. So he'll get to do it again. Rafael Soriano blew only his third save of the year yesterday when he gave up that 3-run home run to Colby Rasmus. So he's trying to nail down his 34th save of the season. Yesterday the slider wasn't working that great.
Well, less wiggle tonight, Michael. 1-run lead. Last night he had a 2-1 lead. A 6-4 difference to the Yankees. With the lefty, righty. Miguel Escobar and Yorvit Torrealba. after Adam Lee.
And there's a strike. 94-mile-an-hour fastball for Soriano. The great ones want the ball the very next day when they don't do the job. They don't want to hide from it. They don't want to sit on it. They don't want to wait a couple of days. They want the ball the next day. So there's a perfect situation for Soriano. Jopper Chamberlain throwing in the bullpen. 1-2. It's a little extra giddy up on the fastball tonight.
Well, there's a purpose. Not that there's not a purpose every time you get out on the field, but yeah, there's got to be a little sting and a chance to close out, especially as close as it was. I know Rasmus ended up getting through and homer. Had an 0-2 count to Rajay Davis. Left the slider middle of the plate, kept the rally going.
That's 95 miles an hour, and a check swing, says Angel Hernandez. And the 2-2. He struck him out.
Nice sequence from Rafael Soriano. Stayed hard the entire bat, got a couple foul balls at 95, one of his better fastballs that you'll see, and then just a bottom dropout slider on the Yesmo here, hand on top, pulls down, and that's that unhittable slider he's done so well this year. Speed up the hitter and then slider in the dirt has been the recipe.
You know how we showed the stains on your tie earlier, Al? I got an email from Lindsay Berra, the granddaughter of Yogi, and she's watching the game with her dad and her Gramps. And Gramps said, Al should be proud. Now he looks just like the ties I wear.
Yogi said that? Wow. I feel honored. Hello, Yogi.
Now don't feel pressure because you know Yogi's watching. I know how you get.
What is that?
You know, Hall of Famer.
I know.
Greatest
Yogi
catchers of all time.
Just
10-time world champion.
Keep going. You get me a little nervous.
The 2-0. Ground ball to Jeter. 5-time world champion. And the Yankees are 1 out away. So it comes down to Yorvit Torrealba. Swing and a miss. Now it's not done yet, but out from up here, it seems like his stuff is more crisp tonight.
Better velocity. He's added. Last night, I think he was mostly 92, 93. We've seen a handful of 95s. He's a determined look, as it was last night, but he just made some mistakes with his slider. That separation, fastball slider. 96.
96.
So first pitch, nice slider down the way. Torrealba didn't like it. Let's take a closer look here. Russell Martin, the glove, outside corner. Good pitch, had the right height. Pitcher's pitch.
Again, a strike away. Crowd on its feet. The 0-2. He struck him out. A bounce back night for Rafael Soriano, and the Yankees win 2-1. The Blue Jays go down in order 1-2-3. The Yankee bullpen was perfect. Robertson a perfect 8th. Soriano a perfect 9th. And Phil Hughes picks up the win with 7 innings of 1-run baseball.
Well, they said that great slider that Soriano's throwing, and a look, and a little angry, pulled that shirt out. Well, he got it done. There's that slider. The 96-mile-an-hour fastball in the corner, paint. Torrealba, no chance. Yankee dugout excited.
So they have split the first 2 games of this 3-game set. The rubber game is the matinee tomorrow. Stick around for the post-game show to find out who's tonight's Chevy player of the game. That has to feel good for Soriano after blowing it last night. He nails it down tonight. The Yankees beat the Blue Jays 2-1, and Phil Hughes gets the win.